All right, everybody, good afternoon. Welcome back to Corsace Closed 2024 quarterfinals weekend. After a brief break, it is time for our final match of the week, match 8 out of 8. It is our last meeting of the losers bracket round 1. Going to feature xootynator against ninerik here in just a moment's time. I'm T1G. Joining me for this one is going to be Miles. Welcome, Miles. Thoughts on Zooty versus ninerik?
I think this is a really tough matchup for ninerik. Zooty being in losers round 1 is something that you never expect to see in a 1v1 tournament like this. She's known to go really far in a lot of 1v1 tournaments, and especially with the nature of this map pool and I guess the sort of lack of speed in a sense for ninerik to really abuse into xootynator, I think it's going to be really tough for him to get a lot of points on the board. But he definitely does still have his maps. I think he can win a bit on any remaining DTs that get through the ban phase, as well as the hard rocks and a couple of nomads. So we're going to have to see how he does on that front. Meanwhile, for Zooty, I think she has a lot of distinct advantages in this matchup between the aim and the hidden pool especially.
Yeah, I think this is a stylistic matchup that we've seen. It feels like a lot of so far in this tournament, where it's, kind of an all-rounder against a very speed-focused player. And with this pool set up the way it is, we've heard the discussions about things like this week's Nomad 5 and Double Time 2 picks, where the Nomad 5 doesn't quite cater to the speed players as heavily as some late-round Nomad 5s might, and the DT2 just gets permabanned. And so that's two of the major advantages that you would kind of expect ninerik to have going into this one, a little bit diminished. And so I'm curious to see where he goes, especially with his ban and pick strategy, because I think for Zooty it's pretty clear you're going to pick the aim, and maybe what gimmick you're capable of playing, things like perhaps a Nomad 4 or Nomad 3. So yeah, I think the approach to this one, it's going to be very interesting to see, especially from ninerik's side.
Yeah, I mean, for Zooty, the name of the game is going to be aim and tech. She's going to go for the Nomad 1, the Hidden 1, both probably going to make it through the ban phase. And then as well as the Nomad 4 and the Hidden 3, could definitely expect to see her go into that. Meanwhile, for ninerik, after the ban phase, I think the angle will probably be Nomad 5 and Nomad 2, assuming xootynator goes to the DT2 ban, as every single player has decided to do this weekend.
Yeah, we've seen 6 out of 7 matches have banned DT2, I believe.
Yeah, so, but then after that, he's probably going to have to pivot into the hard rock pool or whichever double times remain unbanned. But either way, of those two, it's probably going to be DT1 and DT3, of which his advantage is probably a lot less definitive, as you would expect on some of the more speed-focused picks. But nonetheless, I think the strategy is there for ninerik as long as he can convert.
We have seen him perform obviously super well on anything tapping, and there goes that DT2 as to be expected from Zooty for her first ban. Miles, you're a map pooler. Thoughts on that map being banned 7 out of 8 times, and the 8th one it being picked by 2 players who really couldn't play it?
Well, I mean, I've been apologizing to the players for Nomad 5 being too easy all week now, but I'm pretty sure it's a product of that, because usually when you have 2 speed maps that are about the same difficulty, they'll get banned about evenly. But because the DT2 is so much harder in terms of stamina than the Nomad 5, people have just only been banning that one because it's easier to take your chance double tapping on Nomad 5. So that's a bit of a mistake on our part on the map pooling team. But ninerik gonna go for the Nomad 1 ban, getting rid of one of the aim maps that xootynator would very likely pick, and he's going to instantly go into that Nomad 5 Senseless Massacre. Even though it is something that is definitely cheesable for a player like xootynator, we've been seeing her do something like that for years. ninerik is going to have a very definitive act lead on this no matter what. xootynator is going to be playing on this with probably around 92% as we go further through the map, while ninerik should be assessing all of these bursts, and you can see that right out of the intro.
Yeah, this is a very, I think, one-sided skill set in this particular matchup, as it tends to be in xootynator matches, but we'll have to see. The aim for speed players always the concern, finding just a random misaim on a little pattern here and there, while somebody who's maybe a weaker tapping player, cheeses their way through the bursts and hits the aim. So you can't ever feel like this is free for ninerik because of the type of map that it is in the slot, but he's definitely going to have a big accuracy advantage, as you mentioned, and as we are already seeing here, just in the first 400 combo, holding the SS, 5% accuracy up already.
xootynator doing a little bit better than I predicted, having 94%, but she does find the break, so now combo game is officially over. ninerik going in with the SS through the first quarter of the map. Gonna look to dominate the first half of this one as Zooty continues to find some drops.
Yeah,
oh, but there's a slider break.
There is indeed. However, ninerik already up by a 90k score lead on that combo and accuracy advantage, so he's not going to feel too bad. I think this probably feels like it was going to be the most potentially one-sided pick, depending on how well Zooty is able to make it through mashing her way through the bursts. But if ninerik can, just keep similar combo, keep ahead in combo, he's going to be very, very comfortably in the lead on this one. And here we go, up 120k already, or 110k already, and Zooty continuing to struggle here and there with these bursts.
Zooty not having as good of a time mashing through this as worst HR player did earlier this weekend. And that's going to be all good for ninerik on his first pick. With this kind of accuracy lead, this kind of combo lead halfway through the map, there's not really much Zooty can do unless ninerik were to find a very uncharacteristic meltdown on this map.
Yeah, it would have to be multiple misses. He'd have to, somehow fall off a stream, which a player like him, you just absolutely do not expect to have that sort of thing happen. Zooty continuing to break, continuing to struggle. So there is a point, I suppose, at which this is not quite playable, even, despite the discussions we've had. A break does come in for ninerik, but does it even matter at this point? He's doubling the score. He's got a 7-8% accuracy lead. I mean, map pretty well in hand at this point, 2/3 of the way through.
I think I found the solution for any of our speed balancing woes. I think we just need accuracy win con.
I mean, you say that a little bit tongue-in-cheek, but honestly, that has been a proposed solution to speed slots for some time, because it is way more... It's very evident who is comfortable with a speed pick just looking at accuracy alone. And there's a reason that Speed Cup was always AC win con. It's who's actually better at the skill set. I think is more determined by who has the superior accuracy. Also, anti shoutouts to the hit sounding in the last quarter of this. Why is this also quiet?
Good question. Just LMT things, I guess. But anyways, gonna be a very definitive first pick for ninerik. Getting around 500k on the Nomad 5, going to be outdoing xootynator by around 300k.
Yeah, and I mean, 2 misses versus 12, 99.3 AC against 88.74. That's kind of how you expect a Nomad 5 between two players like this to go. And that's exactly what ninerik needed to do to get this match started on the right foot. He will still have the Nomad 2. He still will have the DTs 1 and 3 for future picks. One of those 3 maps, obviously, and then potentially going into the next ban phase. So your first pick here, Hidden 1, Hard Rock 1. I gotta figure it's just going to be an aim pick in one of her favored mod pools.
I assume it'll be Hidden 1. I think that's one where her strength is a little bit more defined compared to ninerik. I think his Hard Rock 1 could be a little bit more dangerous, but still, Zooty, aim gonna be something she picks, but she's gonna go for the tech first, Hidden 3. That finger control, aim control, slider aim, kind of mishmash of a tech map.
And wouldn't you... when I think of ninerik, I do think of a player who's very solid with the finger control. Maybe a little less so with Hidden, and that's why Zooty feels confident and comfortable at the same time, enough to first pick this. But I generally feel like ninerik's a pretty good finger control player. But tossing this in the Hidden pool and adding some more kind of tech elements to it than just the rhythm aspects, perhaps tilts the balance a little bit more in her favor.
Definitely. While ninerik will probably be fine on the finger control patterns, gotta worry about him on some of the other stuff that this map offers. But Zooty, for years now, she's been hanging with the best on these tech picks. Definitely gonna expect her to be very, very dangerous on this.
In we go. We'll see how comfortable these two players are on a very tricky map that does demand a lot out of every player on it. So far, so good through the early stages. Some aim control and finger control required here, and both demonstrating that thus far. 99 accuracy for ninerik. Does find the first break, though, unfortunately, and now Zooty out into the early lead.
She does find the break right after, though. And ninerik actually has the accuracy lead, so he's going to be holding on to a little bit of an advantage here. But we're about to get into that slider aim section, and that's where I really worry about his ability to combo through this.
Yeah, I think he can make it through a lot of these sort of, flow control, finger control patterning, but once you get into that kind of hard base section in the middle, here we are into the slider aim. This is where I'm curious to see how he'll perform. Zooty still holding on, ninerik holding on as well. The accuracy advantage gone for him though, so the score gap pretty much dead even now. Players comboing through.
Oh, he was holding on so comfortably for a while there, but he finds the break at the end of the section, and now xootynator with that massive combo gonna take the advantage right back. Already now 30k in her favor with the accuracy lead in tow once again.
Yeah, that was exactly what Zooty needed here to take a lead at the 2/3 mark now. 400 combo in her favor, 50, 60k score in her favor. Still a third of the map to go, still a lot of time, not over by any means. But ninerik's got a lot of work to do to try to bring us back. We'll need some help as well.
Yeah, and xootynator just eating up this lower section of the map, getting about 200 free combo, gonna do great things for her score lead. Already nearing 100k in her favor. And she's gonna have to break right now for ninerik to have any chance in the ending of this map. But ninerik finds a drop at the start of the next ki section, and that's gonna do it for this one, I think.
Yeah, that was probably about all she wrote as he finds another couple of misses in that section. Zooty looking more and more comfortable into the back quarter, into the ending of this map. And definitely becomes clear why she was willing to first pick this. A late break, but will not affect the scoreline. It's going to be a Zooty point. Going to tie things up 1-1. Both players looking really solid on their own first picks. Very comfortable wins for both.
And as you expect between two players of polar opposite skill sets, gonna have very, very comfortable early picks in a matchup.
Yeah, it really, I think, in this one will come down to who runs out of picks first, more so than anything else. Like you said, basically diametrically opposed skill sets. And so probably we're going to see a couple of straightforward picks to start things off as we have with the first two. ninerik's second pick to come. Nomad 2, DT1, DT3, all available, Miles?
I saw someone in Twitch chat say that ninerik has a DTFC on a DT3. So I think maybe he wants to go for that before the next ban phase, as Nomad 2 could be a little bit more contention between these two players. But he's going to go for DT1 instead.
I am cool with this pick. It's a very speedy 276 BPM DT1. Has plenty of aim, but also has some very challenging and longer bursts than you often see out of a DT1. I want to say 12 or 16 notes in a couple of occasions in the later half of the map. So the tapping requirement is relatively high. And when you are definitely the tapping favored player in the matchup, makes sense to lean into this sort of pick early on.
Gonna have to be solid on the aim, though, because you know xootynator is gonna be able to aim something like this. Probably, I think, most important thing for ninerik on this pick is to FC through the first chorus section. If you can do that, then you're definitely going to be able to make up the difference once the bursts start to come in the second half.
And in we go, and we're going to see how the comfort level appears for both players on the aim as well as on the tapping in this one. Like we said, Zooty expected to have the advantage in aim, but ninerik the superior tapping player, and generally, good enough at aim. At this level, pretty much everyone is good enough at aim. It's just a matter of whether they can execute it in the match. And, both players looking strong early. 2% accuracy lead for ninerik, but otherwise combo dead even.
And that's why I said the first chorus is going to be really important. By the end of this, we're going to be nearing the halfway point of the map where breaks start to really hurt your score. But both players going to be making through it, and that means it's all going to start to come down to the breaks in the next portion of the map.
To the second verse we go, dead even, a bit of an accuracy lead for ninerik. It's going to bolster him up to about a 15-20k score lead. But it's going to be all about that ever-important first break. One player or another is going to find a miss somewhere. There's some act drops from Zooty on the longer burst, but does hold the combo. Both players still maintaining as we head through this aim into the next ki. Both players hit as well.
Ooh. Now we're getting to the point where the first break is going to determine the outcome of this map, and finding a break right there is the worst thing ninerik could have happened. And now xootynator still with the full combo in tow, gonna be able to take a massive lead during this guitar solo, but she has to get through the bursts. Oh, and she doesn't. She breaks on the triple. Now ninerik with his AC lead is gonna be able to take this back if he can manage a combo through this part.
And that accuracy lead is huge as well. 2 full % accuracy lead, and there's a couple of long bursts coming after the aim pattern here, which he does manage to hit. They both have combo coming out of that solo, but it's a 150 combo lead, and now an even bigger accuracy lead. Zooty makes it through, but ninerik makes it through with AC, and the score lead goes his way into the last quarter, and some longer bursts he holds again, and that should be the nail in the coffin on this pick. It looks like ninerik is going to run away with this at the end. Does miss on the aim, but Zooty with no combo to combat it.
99.5% for ninerik is exactly what he wanted to see on this pick. Accuracy making up all the difference for him when you look at the score difference between those two. It is so small, especially when the DT multiplier is taken into account, and that's where Score V2 does its magic. He is actually approaching 99.6%. That is so strong from him.
Just a couple of misaims from ninerik, but the accuracy on point, and was what he needed. Takes the point by over 100,000 at the end. Unfortunately, you can see the xootynator weakness in the tapping. Her aim was where it needed to be, but the tapping just couldn't quite keep up on a map that demanding. And that's going to be 2-1 ninerik on 2 picks that looked very good for him. Managed to hold on in both cases. So he'll be, at worst, tied 2-2 going into the second ban phase after Zooty's next pick to come.
And for Zooty, she's still got a lot of picks to work with. If she wants to go with tech again, the Nomad 4 is still available. But maybe want to pick a map like Hidden 1 here, because I feel like that's something that ninerik might target during the next ban phase. Considering he banned the Nomad 1 as well, might want to go for another aim ban. So get that other one out of the way while it's still available.
Yeah, I think... Oh, it's going to be the Hidden 2 instead. So it is going to be another hidden pick, but it's going to be the low AR hidden. 2 smart early picks here from Zooty. I think these are kind of what you would have expected. Not necessarily known as like a low AR gimmick reading player, but I think good enough at that skill set, especially in a matchup like this against someone who really is not generally going to be as comfortable in it.
This map is very weird compared to your typical AR8, though. This one is, only good way to describe it is it's kind of like a mid 6-star Nomad 2, but you throw AR8 on it and have variable spacing. And that has been the gimmick that map tests, and people have been really suffering on it. We saw, actually, Chaconi take a breakpoint on that against Scroll the other day, and maybe ninerik can do the same on this.
And we saw this, I want to say, Taquito versus Secret Box last night as well. Taquito putting up a pretty good performance if memory serves. So, you know, the players who are good at this, at the kind of combined skill sets that this map asks for, will do quite well on it. But others may struggle. You don't see a ton of flow aim, low AR hidden picks. This is not the most common skill set, as you said, not your standard hidden 2. But it's one that you can see some very good performances on and some very varied performances on, as both these players have broken in the early goings already.
But where you're really going to expect to see a lot of breaks on this is when the streams get big. There's a couple of those sections where you have some longer streams, and that's really where the biggest opportunity to find chain misses are, which I think will probably determine the match between 2 players who aren't necessarily known for their low AR.
See what happens a quarter of the way through. It's going to be the second break to come from ninerik as Zooty starts to build up some combo up to around 200. She should be able to take the score lead. No, it's going to be another break from her as well. And so ninerik will continue to hold on to the lead, has the accuracy advantage as well, perhaps somewhat surprisingly.
And here's that first stream section I mentioned.
Oh,
xootynator gonna fight.
Oh, Zooty! Oh my goodness!
This is for xootynator. ninerik holding strong. He is just beasting through these streams, actually, finally finding a break. But his accuracy lead is so huge now, almost 4% for him, as he finds some drops during the ending part of the stream section as Zooty stabilizes, so it's going to end up being a little bit closer than expected, but still.
It's going to be chain misses from both. ninerik with a few breaks, Zooty to follow as well. The score lead, 30,000 in favor of ninerik. Zooty a little question mark, a little surprised by her performance in the first 2/3 of this map. But plenty of time to go, plenty of combo to go. The back portion of this pick does not get any easier. Whoever is able to build up some more combo in these sections may just have the advantage, but instead it's going to be both players continuing to break, and that score lead is going to stay in favor of ninerik by about 20,000 points.
Zooty perhaps misstepping a little bit on this pick, trying to pick into her opponent's weakness. Looks like it might be backfiring, barring any heroics at the ending. We've still got another long stream section to go, and when the score difference is only 15k like it is, it could really be determined just by the chain misses that we're going to see during that section.
Combo lead ever so slightly in Zooty's favor. There is a big break from ninerik, though, at the worst possible time, coming right into the ending, while Zooty continues to hold on to a 300 combo. If she holds on, she will be able to bring this score back over. It's only about 7k and dwindling by the moment. And there it goes with a big chain miss from ninerik right into the ending. And that is score going down for him. That is score going up for xootynator. And all of a sudden, a 40,000 score lead and more as ninerik continues to chain miss. And Zooty might just escape by the skin of her teeth with a victory on the hidden 2, thanks to the unfortunate late collapse from ninerik.
Crisis averted for xootynator on that pick. She was trailing for most of it, but clutching up at the end thanks to some misses from ninerik. Nonetheless, it was very close for most of the affair, but now into the second ban phase, a more contested map out of the way. I wonder what either of these players are going to decide for their second ban.
Well, yeah, it's a good question. I think, for Zooty the ban, you would expect it to be either Nomad 2 or DT3. For ninerik, I think you would probably anticipate the ban being Hidden 1, maybe Hard Rock 1, but I think more likely the Hidden 1. I stand by ready to be surprised, though.
Yep, and there is the Nomad 2 ban coming out from xootynator, the 215 BPM stamina map out of the pool now. And for ninerik, as you mentioned, probably expect to see an aim map or a tech map get banned, either Hidden 1 or Nomad 4, and there goes the Hidden 1. So second ban phase going as expected for both of these players.
Yeah, well, 2 for 2 action from the predictions here on those bans. You'll love to see it. I think, again, the very opposed skill sets of these players kind of lend themselves to a little more easy to predict ban phases. So we will go into the next picks. It's going to be ninerik, of course, to come. Does still have the DT3 available to him if he wants to use kind of the last tapping favored map in the pool.
Otherwise, I think we're going to have to expect ninerik to start moving into the Hard Rock pool once he exhausts this last DT map. Probably expect him to consider going for the Hard Rock 2 and Hard Rock 3 map. I think the HR3 map could be one that's favored to him. Lots of flow aim in that alt map.
That'd be an interesting one to see. I think Hard Rock 2 a little more even. All right, it is going to be the DT3. I don't know. We didn't end up seeing it, but it is the DT3, unsurprisingly. And this is basically it for true tapping, unless you count kind of the bursty aspects of Nomad 3, but I don't think ninerik picks that.
But yeah, this map, a little bit hard to describe this map in a vacuum for what skill sets it tests, because really it's like a little bit of finger control, lots of aim control with some of the cut bursts, but not really too much of a tapping aspect. We see xootynator find an early break and ninerik having the accuracy lead, so maybe I should shut my trap.
Yeah, I think this is a solid pick again for ninerik. Just strong accuracy player, strong tapping player, and the aim component of this not overly challenging, so to be expected seeing him in the lead early on. But we've seen this map get flipped around from how it started in previous matches, so you will have to hold on for quite some time before this is anything approaching a safe victory. So it is 100k in his favor with the 2% accuracy lead and the 400 combo lead through first half.
Also have to mention that the second and third choruses of this song are much harder than the first one. There's a couple of brutal cut bursts they have to contend with, but xootynator finding another drop is going to be really good for ninerik on this. Still holding on to that 99.8 FC into the first cut burst. Does he hit it? And he does. Getting through the first really difficult pattern of this map going to be huge for ninerik, and you could almost already write this one off. This accuracy is so insane from ninerik, and he hits the second one too.
ninerik absolutely going off on this map. His accuracy is so strong today on all of his picks. He has just looked locked and loaded The Ack at 99.8. That's only, I think, 2 100s perhaps. Zooty has definitely had her fair share of struggles on this pick as she looks to stabilize however she can. But as you said, I would say this one already out of reach. I don't think there's anything approaching 500k score left for Zooty. It is going to be the break for ninerik. No FC will be forthcoming despite the remarkable accuracy. But it's going to be another solid play for him on his own pick. Again, does fall off of that cut burst, but it really doesn't matter at this point. We're just playing for show because this one is already over in favor of ninerik.
Oh, he just drops below the 99% Ack at the end. That last core is so brutal. But still, for ninerik, this is a dominant victory. 820k and climbing into the ending. Just a much more definitive pick than I expected on this one, honestly. Maybe Zooty not as well practiced on this one, but still, when ninerik is playing this well on this map, you can't even put her in the competition on this one.
Yeah, just a stellar performance from ninerik. 856k. The misses and act drops almost entirely coming in that last chorus after this map was already long since determined. Really good job by him so far, making the most of all three of his picks. You know, the 3 tapping maps that were left up outside of the bans, and he won them all comfortably, which was exactly, I think, what he needed to do coming into this match. And the pressure goes on to Zooty, kind of, playing from behind here with that second pick. So we'll see how she answers now with the hidden pool completely gone.
One thing that I'm really curious about is how she picked the hidden 2. Is she going to want to go for Desired Drive? Nomad 6 made it through both ban phases. Map has not seen a lot of usage this weekend. It's very, very difficult in terms of the reading and the aim control and the precision that it tests. In that, I wasn't sure if xootynator would want to pick that just because of how hard it was. It would just feel like picking so hard into your opponent's weakness, but also into your own, that I wasn't sure if she would opt into that kind of map. She is going to go for the tech. That's more in line with what I expected.
Yeah, I think the Nomad 4, completely unsurprising here. This is the type of map, out of what's left, that definitely feels like it is in her favor. A lot of slider aim, some more cursor control tapping flow patterns, kind of like what you see in parts of the Hidden 3. And of course, a lot to live up to from earlier performances on this map, with Malashevsky dropping the FC in his match earlier against Kriller. So we'll see if Zooty or ninerik can pull up and put on a show for us the way that he did. But I do like her chances in this matchup on a tech pick, has shown in the past. When you have really good aim, you can adapt it, I think, to very good slider aim as well, and she typically is able to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. This map, kind of your stock standard tech pick for tournament standards. Nuge and Fairy collab. Lots of difficult slider aim, lots of difficult flow aim patterns that show up within the map. There are 2 distinct sections of that, I think, that show up at around the 1/3 and 2/3 mark of the map, respectively. But otherwise, with how well ninerik played on the Hidden 3, definitely can't count him out on this pick.
No, I think one thing to look out for is going to be accuracy on this one, whereas before it's typically always been in ninerik's favor on the tapping maps. I think on a map like this, you got to favor Zooty as, generally speaking, the stronger tech player. But we're going to get into the real meat of the map here shortly, and it will not stop until the end. Once it starts, it does not let up. You do not get much of a chance to breathe at all. So once you start, here we go. It's going to be an early break from Zooty going into the first tech section. Let's see if ninerik can do anything with that advantage.
He's got to get through a lot of these difficult slider patterns. He finds a 50 on that slider burst, but he continues to hold on to his FC. Hey man, sometimes the flow aim comes in clutch for you, and that was one of those moments for ninerik. Still holding on. It is so imperative for him to be able to hold as long as possible with this advantage. But he does find a slider break right at the end of this slider aim section.
And into the next slider aim section we go. Barely any time in between. No time in between, really. It's going to be a break from Zooty as well, though, so she will not be able to take the advantage back over. ninerik maintains the combo lead, and accuracy ever so slightly in Zooty's favor, but really nothing to write home about. Just have a combo advantage now with another break coming out for ninerik as we enter some more of the kind of tapping flow. We'll see how this one fares for these players.
This is the type of section where I think it's really easy to find a chain miss, but both players looking very comfortable on it so far. But there goes ninerik finding a couple of drops, and the advantage just so quickly goes back in the advantage of Zooty now. as she basically SS's that section.
That was really well played by xootynator. Built up the combo through there where she needed to after the ninerik break, and he finds another slider break in some more of this slider aim section. Zooty holding on. Little bit of cheese, perhaps, dropping a lot of slider ends, but holding onto the combo is what's most important on a map like this. And now a gigantic combo lead as ninerik really not able to put anything together in this portion of the map. Zooty's going to have a massive lead coming into the last quarter where the flow and tapping come back in. She does finally break, but not before she establishes a 40,000 point lead.
And with the accuracy being even, ninerik doesn't really have the tools to really bring this one back unless he manages to find a massive combo in the difficult end section of this map, which we are not really going to expect to see as people have been struggling all weekend on this section of the map.
And both players starting to have a lot of difficulty here. We have not seen a combo really established through that entire section, and so it's just going to be fine. That works out in the favor of Zooty, who already had the score lead. And with the misses continuing to come through, barring a chain miss at the ending to drop score for xootynator, she should be in a safe position. Here we go into this flow and tapping. It's going to be another break from ninerik. Zooty continues to hold on, and that should be about all she wrote for this pick.
She is just going to beast through the next flow aim section as she did the first one. You know, at the start of this map, we expected xootynator to really dominate on the slider aim sections, but I think what really gave her the victory on this was how well she played the flow aim sections on this map, as she full combos the second one as well. And a very strong performance from xootynator on that pick, going to win that one by around 80k.
Yeah, the 345k score against the 260. 100 combo, 16 better in the miscount department for xootynator. Does, I think, reflect a little bit higher degree of comfort in the map. And now things get interesting. 6 picks in. No speed left, no real tapping left in this pool. We discussed what ninerik might do once he exhausted whatever tapping maps were available to him, and now he has done so. So where will he go with his first pick that's going to have to be something different? That is the question, and how will xootynator respond?
And I still think that it's going to be the Hard Rock 3. That's something that is very much in contention between these two players, but still with the flow aim and the finger control requirement on that pick, I think it's something that ninerik can retain his sort of tapping flow aim advantage over xootynator. But also, as I mentioned, it's all risk for ninerik at this point in the match. Without any more tapping maps to really abuse that advantage on, it's going to be tough for him here on out. But it's going to be the Hard Rock 2. Okay, not necessarily something I expected. xootynator, one of the premier precision players in the tourney scene. But still, this map is very short, being only 1 minute and 32 seconds, being low BPM alt with a lot of aim control. We've seen a lot of players struggle on this map to be very consistent.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised by the pick, but it does feel that it's I don't want to say it's a coin flip, but given the length and given the difficulty of the precision in this one, this definitely is a map that feels like it could go either way. It's just going to be, I think, a lot about the combo game, because accuracy will, generally speaking, be relatively low on this map. I don't know whose side that feels like it advantages more.
I mean, ninerik as the more precise tapping player in this matchup, you think that this would benefit him with his accuracy skill, but he's actually the one finding some act drops early. But as we get into some of the aim control, we're seeing xootynator match those act drops, and ninerik now taking the accuracy lead back.
Yeah, accuracy 4% in his favor in the early going here. So, as you said, he has been the generally superior act player through much of this map, and there is Zooty falling off badly. Fortunately for her, ninerik breaks as well, but it is not before already establishing a 70,000 score lead.
Yeah, and the act drop for Zooty going to be very bad on this, all the way down at 86. It's a 10% accuracy lead for ninerik on the HR2 going into the ending section.
And there's more breaks from Zooty. 10% accuracy lead, my goodness. I will say I thought ninerik would have good act on this, but I expected a little bit better in that regard from Zooty. Definitely struggling with this map quite a bit. The volatility of this map in terms of individual player performance rearing its ugly head once more. She does have the combo lead into the ending, but ninerik had already established an undisputed score lead. And I've continued to see players winning their own picks relatively comfortably. 500K to 377K. 7 straight 1 picks. No break points.
I think
Once again, up to Zooty to answer.
I think a bit of unexpected dominance from ninerik on that map. I did not expect xootynator to struggle so much on the accuracy. Well, she also fell off basically all of the cut patterns on that map. But nonetheless, ninerik is going to be fine with that, winning one of those contested remaining picks in the pool. And now it's going to be up to xootynator once again to answer with her own pick. When it comes to picks remaining for her, it's starting to look a little bit dire for her as well. She has Desire Drive if she wants to throw that at the wall, but I think HR1, which she does pick, is going to be a lot better for her. The remaining aim map in the pool after 2 aim bans from ninerik, going to be the pick from xootynator.
And this will be, kind of the only map of its type that we'll be seeing. Obviously, we did see the DT1 earlier, but the aim requirement of this DT1 versus the aim requirement of this Hard Rock one are 2 completely different things. And xootynator, of course, famous for how good her aim is. But there is more to this pick than just the raw aim. There are some bursts, some awkward, flowy 1/3 streams. Plenty of things to break on that aren't just the raw aim. Got to keep your wits about you. And especially in this circumstance, down 4-3, xootynator, if ninerik could steal away a break point here, he would have match point on his own pick. So a lot riding on this particular one, but obviously Zooty, as the aim player, generally going to be favored, I think, in this pick.
We're getting some intel that Zooty may have practiced the wrong difficulty of this map.
I believe the diffs of this set are really different from one another as well, right?
Yeah, this diff is so much different than anything else on the set. Most of the other ones are just raw aim, but this one has a lot of difficult 1/3 patterns, lots of bursts, as you said. It's a collab between Toybot and Professional Box, so you could almost go out of the way to call this like a little bit of like mech tech in a way.
Yeah, yeah. We've seen there are plenty of maps out there like that from ProBox. I think that to kind of know what that phrasing means in this context. And clearly, Zooty already with a couple of breaks, so not quite as comfortable with this as she would like to be. And ninerik looking good through this first verse. Gonna build himself up just a little tiny lead in the early going of a pretty lengthy map.
Yeah, as you mentioned, this map nearly 4 minutes in length, so still a lot to go, and you'd expect xootynator with her aim prowess to really start to get comfortable on this further as the map goes on. But ninerik, for now, gonna have an advantage, but he finds a break right before the first chorus, and now xootynator's gonna start to claw it back in.
That was the advantage that she needed to try to pull back. Beginning to build up a fair amount of combo for herself, makes it through that Kiai section. And it will be the lead over to xootynator. Not comfortable by any means yet, but she is looking like she is into the rhythm of the pick, into the flow of things, building up quite a sizable combo.
Now into this little 1/3 section. As long as xootynator continues to hold, she's going to have a very definitive lead. She has to remain comfortable. Still lots of map to go, and ninerik right on her heels with combo and accuracy.
It is a slider break from Zooty. I believe she got caught out on that buzz slider, but fortunately for her, ninerik follows up with a break on one of those little 1/3 streams. We mentioned those. We've talked about them in previous matches. This one as well. They can catch you out quite easily, and he also follows it up with a miss on the back and forth jumps. And that is going to be advantage xootynator once more. 100 combo in her favor. And, oh, that was just a 50, not a slider break, so we'll see what she can build.
A little bit scary stuff from xootynator there, dropping that 50, but now going into the guitar solo, I think this is going to be the least sight-readable part of the map. This is where we see a lot of those 1/3 patterns and lots of bursts, but she's going to get through those first two. But here we go, into the guitar solo.
With the slider break from ninerik, the combo lead continues to build up for xootynator as she keeps the hope alive here, tying this thing up. One of those 1/3 gets hit by both players, but Zooty with 400 versus 100 combo. The lead is continuing. It's 80,000 points, and it's going to come to the last quarter of the map, and she's going to be in a pretty decent spot. Makes it through that 1/3 burst as well. Into the ending, we're going to come.
xootynator's advantage on aim coming in clutch, holding that massive combo into the ending as ninerik continues to falter, finding another break, and xootynator looking to come out unscathed despite practicing the wrong difficulty on this map, still gonna come out with a massive combo in the end, and that is just what you expect from xootynator on the aim map.
Absolutely. An incredible aim player, a very solid, I mean, generally hidden Hard Rock player, but Hard Rock on its own clearly not proving to be too much of an issue. And ninerik just faltering frequently enough on the aim patterns in this one to allow Zooty kind of to run away with it a little bit here, reaching nearly a 200k score gap by the ending. Very good performance from her. It's going to be about a 600k score on a sight read on a very, very challenging map. Well done to xootynator. Defending her own pick once more. It's 4-4. Last pick each coming up.
All right, T1G, we've got 3 picks remaining in the map pool. We have Deconstruction Star, Desire Drive, and Hard Rock 3. I think ninerik basically has to go for the Hard Rock 3 here, or maybe Deconstruction Star. I think Deconstruction Star gonna be the most contentious out of the 3 remaining picks. Well, I mean, honestly, all 3 of them are contentious because Desire Drive is just gonna be hell for both of these players. And then the other 2 are both alt maps, one of them being more awkward linear flow and the other one being more straightforward circular flow, both with some degree of finger control within them. But Deconstruction Star definitely having more, I guess, classic finger control. So I think maybe ninerik might decide to go for that instead of the Hard Rock 3, but I feel like it has to be one of those 2.
Yeah, I was thinking about the Nomad 3, you know, while we've been discussing it, and the thing that jumps out at me, of course, with that map in ninerik's favor is the incredibly fast burst, right? You've got 300 BPM bursts in that pick, which suit him, but the aim control is so difficult, and he's going to go the Nomad 6. He's going to just say, screw it, I'm going Nomad 6. We're going to go low AR, small circles, overlap aim, tapping control, and everything in between. I don't know that I saw this one coming.
This is the most unreal thing I have ever seen. ninerik is going to pick Desire Drive against xootynator, who looked a little bit shaky on the hidden 2, not always known to be very good on the reading. And, you know, I just don't know. We're going to see something special on this map. This is the equivalent of 2 non-speed players picking something like DT2. You have 2 non-reading players playing Desire Drive.
This is going to be very interesting. This could go very well, or it could go very poorly for ninerik, and only time will tell. It's a middling length, 2 minutes 21 seconds. So who knows what's going to happen on the other side? But starting out, not amazingly for either player. Multiple breaks here in the intro already. A very, very challenging map to anyone who is not a specialist in the skill set, and you are seeing that exactly why.
This is the type of pick where I feel like accuracy is going to play the most important role, because neither of these players are expected to get a very good combo on this, so the accuracy is going to make up a lot of the difference. If either player finds any chain miss, that is going to be the worst thing that could happen to their score. But it's going to be a slight lead to xootynator from the combo, despite a small ac lead for ninerik. But it is just so close between these 2 players. It is only 10k in favor of Zooty at around the halfway mark.
Yeah, this is just dead even so far. The accuracy almost identical. The misses are almost identical. Couple more breaks for both players, just unable to establish any sort of combo. This really is the I can't play this, but I don't think you can either pick of all time. We're seeing both players struggling so much, but for now, it's working kind of for ninerik. He has himself about a 15k lead.
You know, I've always been thinking about what would happen if we expanded the map pool to have 4 double times, but the benefit of not having that is that when these matches get close, the pool really gets whittled down. You have to see players picking outside their comfort zone on things like this, and this is just exactly what ninerik has done. It is so close, only like 9k score lead for ninerik, and it is all based on the accuracy, but xootynator has brought up the combo, nearing 200. She's going to be able to swing the lead back as ninerik finds a drop, into the ending. xootynator clutching up.
This is so huge for her. She has 250 combo into the ending. The score lead, as big as it has been at any point in this map, at exactly the right time for her. It's going to be a Zooty break point to give herself the only match point that either player will see on a risky coin toss of a pick. ninerik, unfortunately, coming up tails, and xootynator gonna stick her nose out in front, 5-4. Will have a match point in hand going into her last pick, the last pick of this entire match, with only 2 maps to choose from.
The Desire Drive Gambit not working out for ninerik. It was looking good for a while, but Zooty's combo at the end making the difference despite the small accuracy lead for ninerik. And now it is either Deconstruction Star or Karaki Sekai no Dokoku in the Hard Rock pool. And both of those maps, very long ult maps. Neither player really picking into ult at all in this match, apart from ninerik picking the low BPM ult precision pick. So we're getting a showstopper for the last pick for sure.
Surely for the content, this has to be Nomad 3, because that is the content pick of this pool. Right,
Surely.
like Deconstruction Star is the content pick, and at this stage of the match, you pick the content pick. And I actually think it favors xootynator more anyway, because the aim control factor of that map is so high. You have to be able to hit those little back and forth reversing flowy jump patterns, and I don't know that ninerik will be up to that task as well as xootynator is, despite having the advantage on the higher BPM bursts throughout the map.
You say that, but ninerik really was doing a lot better on the aim control on Hard Rock 2, and it's gonna be Deconstruction Star to end out the match. The final pick, the iconic Hollow Wings alt map. Deconstruction Star will be the setting of the final pick of the match. xootynator wins this to move on to the next stage. ninerik has to win this to force the tiebreaker.
I would not want to be facing down the barrel of Deconstruction Star to try to force a TB. A 5-minute-long, brutally difficult aim control ulti pick. This is a barn burner of a match, and what a way to end it out. You feel almost a little bad that Hard Rock 3 had to get left behind, but to be giving us the opportunity to see this map once more, I think it is more than worth it.
Mm-hmm.
And here we go
Into
how
the
they
beginning.
do. And I think this is the section where, if anything, ninerik might have the advantage because of the bursts and the figure control required. But Zooty is more than capable, generally speaking, of playing this type of thing.
I'm not sure if I could really spell out an advantage for anyone on either section, but ninerik is going to be finding a bit of a meltdown on this beginning section here, actually. The finger control into the ult patterns, catching him out as xootynator gets through it unscathed. 99% full combo.
And I think ninerik was single tapping that section. I don't know if that's good or bad or neither, but we'll note. Single tapping the everything but the bursts. Pretty wild. But yeah, it's going to be Zooty. Combo lead, accuracy lead, score lead, all going her way thanks to those couple of drops from ninerik. So it's going to be a combo. It's going to be a decent sized combo lead heading into the next challenging section here for xootynator. The question will be how long she can hold on to it.
Yeah, I mean, ninerik, this is going to very quickly fall out of his hands if xootynator continues to hold the full combo, but into the first chorus section we go. This is where we're going to start to expect to see some more breaks. Both players looking fairly strong through the first half of it, though. We've got a couple more parts to it, though. Everyone is doing well on the back and forth, though.
Yeah, I thought this aim control would maybe favor Zooty, and there it does, as it is multiple misses coming for ninerik. And he falls even further behind, 90,000 points now in the favor of xootynator as she continues to hold on to the full combo. ninerik with multiple breaks in that diff spike section. And now this gets really challenging because there's more combo to be freely built up for xootynator when she already has a pretty sizable lead.
Yeah, and this slow part is going to favor Zooty a lot as well. She gets about 250 free combo after that chorus section before the next one. And she's just going to compound that lead so quickly during this. Already nearly double the score of ninerik as we get to the halfway point of the map. If ninerik wants to have any shot, xootynator needs to break on this course no matter what.
She just does not show any signs of letting that happen. No, I tell a lie. As the break does come out from the side of xootynator, it is a 300 combo advantage to ninerik, but he's got a lot of ground to try and make up. He's 140k behind. Still half the map to go, though. Plenty of time, but he's got to hold for a long while through a lot of the difficult sections in the second half of this pick if he wants to make this happen. 130k into the slow section in favor of xootynator.
Making it through that chorus was the first thing ninerik had to do, but now he has to make it through the hardest chorus of this map, along with a part that is similar to the beginning at the ending, where ninerik found a lot of misses. So he's once again going to need a miracle to come back on this, but the window is now open. If he does full combo the rest of this and xootynator finds a lot of breaks, maybe drops her accuracy a little bit, ninerik is not just quite dead yet. Still got a chance in this one.
It's going to take a lot of hard work, though. Still working at 120k deficit is ninerik. But he's got what he needed to try and make this happen. He has to hold through everything to come. He has to maybe hope for a little bit of help. Perhaps a tiny amount of divine intervention will be needed. Who knows? We're going to go through the build-up here. Into the last quarter of the map. We've seen the buzz sliders. We've seen people break on. So you got to be careful.
Here we go. Buzz sliders.
And both players make it through.
Here we go, the final course of the map. Lots of difficult aim control here. Both players getting through the first pattern. Oh, ninerik dropping.
Oh my goodness.
But he holds on.
No.
Oh, but there's the breaks, and that's gonna do it. It looks like xootynator still holding on through the final chorus in the most difficult patterns of the map. Gonna get out of the woods. ninerik was chasing her, but she has escaped. Going to make it to the ending of this map with a definitive enough lead to make it to that losers round 2, where Emrek is going to be waiting for her.
That is going to be a brutal matchup, to say the least, but if nothing else, she'll be able to rest on her laurels a tiny bit, emerging victorious in a very closely fought affair in this matchup against ninerik, who played his absolute heart out and nearly did enough to make a comeback happen on the last pick. But xootynator just too strong at the ending, able to FC those last couple of sections and able to put up a 546k and a 6-4 match win to advance onward and eliminate ninerik from Corsace Closed 2024.
It was a GG, well played, ninerik, getting those 4 picks on the board so definitively. He had the opportunity to really come in and put the hurt on xootynator, but nonetheless, xootynator on Deconstruction Star, clutching it out to conclude our quarterfinals weekend.
And this was a very fun weekend, I gotta say. We had some super competitive matches, a couple of 6-4s, 6-3, and of course, that epic tiebreaker with Forum escaping over Emrek. So I hope everybody enjoyed quarterfinals week here at Corsace Closed. I know I sure did, and I hope you did as well, Mr. Miles.
I mean, yeah, we got to see everything I wanted to see in this map pool. Deconstruction Star getting as much usage as it did put just such a smile on my face. Especially that everyone really wanted to pick that map late into a match. It never felt like anyone picked Deconstruction Star early. It only was picked in late stages of close matches. And other than that, like, just seeing so many close matches. A lot different from our round of 16 weekend, happily enough.
Yeah, the tournament definitely took a level up this weekend in the quarters compared to round of 16. That is for sure. But as we said, that is going to be the ending of our matches for this week. We are going to have about, I believe, an hour's break, if I am correctly understanding our scheduling here. 20 UTC will be the semifinals map pool showcase, and I believe that's going to be you, probably. I don't know who else will be joining for that one, but we'll get there when we get there. In the meantime, of course, make sure to go thank and support our sponsor, Momokai. Discount code CORSACE for your Momokai needs, and of course, the manga as well. If you need a little something to read in your downtime between now and that semifinals showcase, You can check that out in the link in chat as well. But for now, congratulations to xootynator. Commiserations to ninerik. And well played all weekend to everyone involved. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for watching. We will see you guys in about an hour for the Map Pool Showcase for the semifinals. I've been T1G, he's been Miles. We'll see you on the other side.